A USC junior shares how racial hate is the real virus of the pandemic. More on her story and how it speaks to the rise in hate crimes.
The Los Angeles COVID-19 vaccine rollout continues after harsh weather stalls shipments. Find out which sites are set to open.
And USC is taking new steps to bring students back to campus. Find out what spots are opening up. Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
And she started punching my door, and then she opened my door and punched me straight in the face. I know I should have locked my car door. There's a million things I could have done, but it was all so high intensity.
USC junior Annalise Fuji was assaulted while picking up food with a friend. Good evening, I'm Lauren Hebroni reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Carolyn Casera, also reporting from Los Angeles. It's been 6 months since the incident, but tonight Fuji is sharing her story.
She drove back and she looked through the neighborhoods, and then she came up to my car, and the kid got out, was kicking the car, and she started punching my door, and then she opened my door and punched me straight in the face.
Fuji snapped an image of the driver and the car's license plate, planning to take her case to the police. She says the LAPD did not offer much help, telling Fuji they were busy dealing with BLM-related issues and that the incident was simply one of road rage. She has been expecting to hear back from the department for the past 6 months.
The cops told me that people are crazy in COVID, they're just a little stir crazy, kind of justifying her actions. And I was so confused that. Yeah, I'm a little stir crazy. Yeah, I want to go to the beach, but I don't want to punch people. I don't know. So that's why I think it's really rough that people are taking out on Asian Americans, because nobody wants to be in the pandemic.
The number of anti-Asian hate crimes have soared. There were 216 reported in 2019. Since last April, this number spiked to over 3,000 incidents. Close to a third of Asian adults say they've been a target of discriminatory language. For Asian students who may have been the victim of a similar attack, Fuji recommends visiting stopaapihate.org, a self-reporting tool for discrimination. USC also offers drop-in counseling through the Asian Pacific Student Services Department on campus.
USC has announced plans to completely reopen by next fall. A letter from USC President Carol Folt laid out the plans for what is happening this spring and the transition into the fall semester. Until the full return to campus next fall, USC's libraries, swimming pools, outdoor recreation areas, and study canopies will be open at a reduced capacity. As of today, the bookstore is open for appointment shopping. A USC freshman is looking forward to this transition after experiencing her first year of college from home.
I've always wanted to eat in a dining hall, and I've never done that before, so I'm excited for that. Seeing the work that I've already been doing in my clubs come to life. I feel it's hard to see the impact that some of the clubs that I'm in can have virtually, but being in person and seeing all the people I've been talking to in real life, I think will be really fun.
The announcement also explained that 1,200 USC faculty and students will be vaccinated each week. Testing will also be available twice a week.
The LA Unified School District announced the release of the Daily Pass app to help families and employees with a safer return to school. According to the superintendent, all students have been given computers and internet access.
You can schedule your free on-campus COVID test. The results are displayed in your Daily Pass. And if you choose to take your test off campus, you can post the results in your Daily Pass.
With elementary schools scheduled to reopen in April, the Daily Pass is LAUSD's first attempt to ease the students, parents, and teachers' concerns regarding safety. The app allows users to answer screening questions and receive a QR code to access buildings and facilities safely. Tomorrow, vaccinations will resume at 6 city-run vaccination sites in Los Angeles, including Dodger Stadium and the Crenshaw Christian Center. This comes after the city postponed more than 12,000 appointments because of shipment delays.
Today, the U.S. has reached the grim tragedy of 500,000 COVID-19 deaths. We talked to a pulmonary and critical care specialist about the magnitude of this tragedy and how it is not over yet.
We had our first cases in early March of last year, And at that time, we were overrun and overwhelmed. The most important thing for us to communicate is that when public health measures start to work and the case rates go down, that is not the time to ease restrictions.
A Los Angeles health center is opening 3 more vaccination clinics dedicated to communities of color. St. John's Well Child and Family Center serves Black and Latino residents in South and Central Los Angeles. The center serves over 100,000 patients. Most are undocumented immigrants or from low-income communities. California is continuing the vaccination process, and health professionals are concerned about the fairness of the rollout.
I think what we've seen throughout the pandemic is a lot of selfishness. We have people coming from, wealthy areas on the West Side, coming to our clinics and, literally standing out front and saying, is it clean in there? We had one vaccine chaser who spit on a security guard because he moved an African-American woman, 82-year-old African woman ahead of the line to get her in to get vaccine.
St. John's is doing its part to ensure that communities of color are vaccinated. Mangia says that they have vaccinated over 30,000 people so far. The campaign to recall Governor Newsom is making headway as more people push for his removal. Reporter Kimia Rabar has more on the story.
Those leading the push to remove the governor are close to putting a recall on the ballot. They say they have one of the 1.5 million signatures they need. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is in the 3rd year of his term. His popularity was high until he was caught inside a restaurant for a fancy fundraiser, while at the same time telling everyone else in the state they had to stay home. Now, Democratic strategists say they expect Newsom's opponents to capitalize on his missteps.
The recall is really a tool that's being used right now by disgruntled Republicans as a means to try and destabilize the Newsom administration. The fact that Gavin Newsom has had so much trouble, with this pandemic, has made it
much more likely that the recall could potentially qualify. I think with the trends going the way they are with COVID, he's going to be in a much better position come the recall election, if there is one.
If there is a special election, is Gavin Newsom out as governor? And if so, the question then becomes who will replace him?
Since March, sports have been off limits to kids here in California. Things have started to loosen up. But as Annenberg Media's Tony Quach reports, not everyone is waiting around for the governor to say, play ball.
Around this time of year, a baseball field like this one will be filled with young ball players. But because of the pandemic, youth sports in California have been canceled for the past year. I met with one mother who took matters into her own hands.
Yes. Dolores Lomali's 14-year-old son eats, sleeps, and breathes baseball. And whether Matthew is striking someone out, hitting a home run, or winning a championship, his mother is always there.
Home run, babe! Woo!
Matthew is the type of kid who will play and practice outside by himself or drag me along to pitch to him or catch with him. So he practices all the time to be the best as he can.
Dolores Lomali has always been willing to go the distance for her son. These days, that's meant going all the way to Arizona. The pandemic has forced many parents to travel out of state so their kids can play ball. California has imposed strict COVID guidelines for youth sports, but that's changing. Over the weekend, the governor announced new guidelines. All outdoor sports may resume in counties where COVID case rates are at or below 14 people per 100,000. Sports like baseball, softball, and football can resume this Friday.
It's a blessing to see him out there and knowing that I can, we can make the sacrifices that we need to get him out there and do what he loves.
For Matthew, it's more than just playing baseball and winning championships.
Just having road trips with my family, even if it's just a couple of them, it's fun. It's really fun going to all these different places to play sports.
For now, Matthew will keep playing in Arizona because the COVID numbers are still too high in Los Angeles and 15 other counties. And Matthew's #1 fan will be right by his side, cheering him on. For Annenberg Media, I'm Tony Quach.
What is up, sports fans? I'm Rachel Grode reporting from Los Angeles, here to bring you all the sports latest. The USC Trojans are closing out their season against number 10 UCLA in one final matchup before the 2021 Women's Pac-12 tournament. This past weekend, the USC women's basketball team fell to the Oregon Ducks in a devastating 72-48 loss. The women of Troy have a 10-10 overall record and are on the bubble of the NCAA tournament, so Friday's Crosstown Showdown will play a huge part in deciding the team's postseason outlook.
I still have faith in the kids, and I know this is far from over, and we just got to go and keep working hard, keep improving.
Given the team's record and performance so far, the Trojans will likely have to secure the victory over the Bruins. They will also have to bring their A game to the big dance to secure a spot in the March NCAA tournament. To catch you up on more USC sports news, let's head over to Bianca Bueno for all things water polo and baseball.
Thanks, Rachel. USC Baseball opened their 2021 season by taking 2 of 3 from Loyola Marymount this weekend on the strength of some well-timed hitting.
The Trojans escaped the Lions Friday with 2 home runs and a rare walk-off walk with bases loaded. They won more comfortably on Saturday. It was a shootout on Sunday as the team combined for 35 hits, but LMU overcame 2 home runs by Trojan infielder Clay Owens to win 9-8 in extra innings. USC begins a 3-game home series against Cal Poly this Friday. Moving to the pool, number 4 ranked men's water polo took the LA Crosstown Showdown up north for the Stanford round robin. They toppled number 2 UCLA by a score of 9-4 Sunday after falling to number 1 Cal and number 3 Stanford the previous 2 days. Between 2-meter Wyatt Baker's 3 fourth-period goals and a 10-save performance from Nick Porter, the Trojans dominated the game's final 8 minutes.
With an action-packed weekend for Trojan sports, it only gets better as USC men's basketball takes on Oregon at home tonight after coming off of a loss to Arizona that ended their 7-game winning streak.
Honestly, Bianca, I really think that this loss and losing the streak should not be something that should faze the Trojans. They've had an amazing season this far, and the USC-UCLA game that comes at the end of the season has ultimately been the kicker to decide how the team performs in the Pac-12 and in the NCAA tournament. What are you thinking about the Trojans and the rest of their season?
You know, they've done great so far, and with the Mobley brothers, I'm sure they're going to actually pull out and be fine in time for March. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's all we have for sports today. And now we go back to news.
Several USC students are taking classes from all over the world. I'm Jennifer Kim reporting from Seoul, South Korea with a new weekly segment that features Trojans around the globe. Tonight, we meet Lindsay Yu, a Marshall Jr. who is currently in Taipei, Taiwan.
COVID's definitely very controlled here. So people still wear masks, but we don't really have any cases here. There's like 1 to 2 maybe every week. So I start class at midnight and I finish my early morning class at like 2 a.m. and then I go to sleep. And sometimes I wake up at 6 in the morning again just to go to another class. I just have to make those requirements anyway. Like I have exams and there are group projects that I have to just cater towards my other teammates' needs too. I'm trying very hard to do well in these classes.
Lindsay is just one example of how hardworking Trojans are no matter where we are or what circumstance comes our way. Stay tuned for more students fighting on from all across the globe in weeks to come.
Wow, Lauren, I could not imagine having to stay up late into the night to be able to take my classes. I'm lucky enough to be on Pacific Standard Time, and I still feel like I'm half asleep sometimes in my morning class.
I totally relate to that, Caroline. She must be super dedicated to her studies to maintain that schedule.
That's it for Annenberg TV News. Thanks so much for watching.
From everyone at Annenberg Media, have a great night.